All right, let's see if this works right here, real quickly, guys, before we get this thing started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a audio stream only. So I'm still going to do this. Let's get started, but this will be an audio stream only, folks. So let's get into it.
Fasten your seatbelts for the realest Eagles and Sixers YouTuber! One who plays no clickbait and gets to the point! The myth, the legend, Nicky Steves! Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. I'm simply statue, think they slate, dropping unrealistic man. 2K takes for the clip. Even though cats like that get views closer to the millie, never hear me preach, flip on to Philly. Avoid you watching the Eagles all the way through the early 22. Authentic talk, forget what others do. Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. The 24/7, 365 way. Sports content for the reals that feel the day.
Hello, happy Saturday afternoon. Hope you're having a great afternoon so far. So, if you're wondering why I have the background and why you're only hearing audio, StreamYard for some reason is doing something really odd. I I added my mic, my camera to the stage and my audio, but my camera won't peer up. It's just the audio. So, it's going to have basically a promotion to Eagles Landing Zone, Eagles post game live special. So that'll be the shout out here. And this will just be an audio stream for that reason. But let's get right into it. So we're still doing it. We're still rocking and kicking with it. The Eagles versus 10, week 10 preview. Eagles Cowboys week 10 preview, all Hardcore Sports Network and my channel, as always. If anyone new's coming by, please do me a favor. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe to both channels. But we're still going to give the breakdown and we're still going to talk about it. That being said, the Eagles versus Cowboys week 10 matchup at AT&T Stadium. Week 10 at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eagles are 7-point favorites, between 6.5 to 7. Let's say 7-point favorites in this matchup against the Cowboys, which is interesting. We obviously know the reason why the Eagles are the favorites in this one. Obviously, Cowboys have been struggling all season, and they're down a lot. They're down their quarterback. They're down. They got one of their key defensive linemen. I was on IR, and DeMarcus Lawrence. They're down a lot of key pieces. And, Micah Parsons is questionable. So was Eric Kendricks, two of the main players on defense. So you're possibly talking about missing 3 of your key players. Whereas the Eagles, most of their guys will be healthy in this matchup. So we at least got something going there. We at least have our pieces in there. But, hey, you know what? Let's break into it. So we got the Eagles, Cowboys, Week 10, AT&T Stadium. Eagles are, favorites, but at the same time, we haven't won a game at AT&T since 2017. It's been a long drought versus the Cowboys over there at that place. We lost to them 2018 in OT, 2019 Sunday night, 2020 week 16, 2021 week 3, 2022 Christmas Eve, and then last year we lost to them late in the season over at AT&T. So we got a losing streak against the Cowboys on the road to snap in this one because they've had our number down there. But you know what? We got to do what we got to do. I mean, we have a favorable matchup this time around. We're going against Cooper Rush. Cowboys don't have much of a run game. We do. So this should be a favorable matchup for us here against the Cowboys. Because we look at it, here we got the Eagles. We're in this one. We're a much better run team overall. I mean, just Saquon's second most is right behind Derrick Henry in terms of rushing yards. He has the second most rushing yards in the league this season. Right there. That's one factor. The second, and then you also look at Cowboys with Rico Dowdle. He had a decent game against the season. He hasn't really done anything to help them really do anything phenomenal or spectacular. But you know what? But yes, that's one advantage. Secondly, Cowboys have to go rely on Cooper Rush, not their starting quarterback, Dak Prescott, in this matchup, which that's a big factor right there. I mean, Cooper Rush, now last time we played him, we beat him 26-17 back in week 6 of the 2022 season when we moved up to 6-0. Then right. So we already played Cooper Rush once and we beat him then. But this time around, for the Eagles defense and the Cowboys offense, it's mostly different looks for both teams. Because for the Cowboys offense this time around, the main pieces you have left are CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson from that week 6 matchup in 2022. The running game looks completely different. And for the Eagles defense, they look different this time around. You still got some of the same players. You still got Darius Slay, but for the most part, it's a newer core. With them, with the linebackers, Nakobe Dean, and with the pass rushers with Jalen Carter and Jordan. Jordan Davis is still there, but he was still kind of green at the time during his rookie season. And our secondary, we still got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but we also have a few new pieces, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. So it's a different look for the Cowboys offense and the Eagles defense than it was the last time we played Cooper Rush 2 seasons ago in week 6. So that'll be one factor there. Now, we're real quick. We will take a look at the full depth chart headed into this matchup. And Dallas Goedert is expected to play this time around. I'm going to try to share the screen with you guys. Let's see if this works. And all right, this is working. Wait, or is it working? Wait, can you guys see? All right, but I'll share it with you guys. All right, so the Eagles depth chart so far on offense, you get Jordan Mailata still on IR, Britton Covey's on IR, LaRaven Clark's on IR. And for the defense, this is going to be an audio stream only, folks, due to some odd issues with StreamYard. But we're still going to give you the breakdown. And then you got Byron Young still on IR. But we're mostly healthy headed into this matchup. Even Dallas Goedert's playing this time around. We don't have any real notable injuries. But with the Cowboys, Dak's out. Brandon Cooks is on IR. Left tackle Kyler Guyton's questionable. You got John Stevens Jr. IR. Nathan Thomas, left guard's on IR. Earl Bustock Jr., the right tackle's on IR. Marcus Lawrence on IR. Yamika Parsons questionable for this matchup. Dyron Bland is out, and even Trayvon Diggs is questionable. Wani Thomas, free safety, he's out. Cowboys are banged up headed into this matchup, and they're already a struggling team. We saw they struggled against an injury-riddled 49ers team on Sunday night, and then they won 3 games. The only game they played any bit good and really good at all was the week 1 game against the Browns. And let's face it, that was against the dumpster fire team in the Browns. That's the only game the Cowboys have played this season they've actually looked good in. They got blown out by the Saints. And they've also, and even the other two, and the two out of the three wins against both the Giants and the Steelers, they didn't look impressive. And look at their losses. They really haven't done that much to impress during any of these games. We look at, right, they lost, they lost the Falcons last week. They gave up 3 sacks. Cooper Rush had to come in and help out. Against the 49ers, they got blown out. Like I said, they were blown out by the Saints. This just wasn't a good game for the Eagles. This just wasn't a good game for them. Hold on a second. Give me. Oh, there we go. There we go. We got it. The overlay's gone. Here we go. All right, folks. Now we got it. All right. There we go. Hold on one second, folks. All right. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So we got the video back. All right. Let's do this. So we're talking about, let's get back to it. Let's talk about the key. Let's show. All right, now I'm going to show you guys the depth charts real quickly now that we got our screen back. All right, let's do this. All right, so let's take a look. The depth chart, we got Hurts, you get offense, like you see, mostly healthy. Defense, pretty good. And the Cowboys, like I said, most of their guys you see out. We're just going through everything I went through, but there we go. Now it's fixed. All right, but there we go. So yes, now we got things back going. But now back to the key matchups now. The key matchups in this game is going to be Saquon versus the Cowboys run defense. Saquon has just been balling out all season long. He's second in rushing yards. I mean, he has 925 rushing yards heading into this matchup. But if all he's got to do in this one is get 75 and he's got 1,000 on the season, that's a favorable matchup right there. And when it comes to the Cowboys, with Rico Dowdle, he has 71 carries for 321 yards. It's 71 carries for 321 yards in this matchup, going into this matchup. So Rico Dowdle hasn't really done that much, whereas Saquon's closing in on the 1,000-yard mark. That's the main difference right there in the run game. And the Cowboys, they could still get some pressure on us, but we're not really sure. And the Cowboys, last week, their offensive line didn't hold up too great against the Falcons. So you got our defensive line, which has improved in recent weeks, going against the Cowboys defensive line. Eagles have started to get better. They started to get to the quarterback more frequently. So that's going to be one key factor in this match. Another key factor in this matchup. Because the Eagles, let's see, where do they stand right? We're going to take a look at where they stand right now in terms of sacks for the season. Eagles right now have 22 sacks as a defense going into the season. So we started to get better recently. And we're on against Cooper Rush, who's pretty much a pocket quarterback. And so that gives us plenty of room to feed at the defensive line to get to the quarterback, get some sacks. And that's a key factor right there. And then for the Cowboys, on their side hand, they have gotten 18 sacks, so they can get some pressure, but ultimately this matchup clearly goes in our favor in terms of getting to the quarterback for the defensive line, especially going against Cooper Rush, who's mainly a pocket passer. He's going to be a sitting duck in this one. He will be a sitting duck in this matchup for us. So that's one matchup in our favor. And then you also got the matchup of our wide receivers, AJ and Smitty, versus the Cowboys secondary. And the only guy on that Cowboys secondary that's going to be playing in this one, possibly, is Trayvon Diggs. But Trayvon Diggs is questionable in this one. They don't have Deron Bland, so the Cowboys are going to be down at least one of their main secondary guys, if not both their main secondary guys. But that gives a perfect opportunity for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to feast on this Cowboys secondary. Now, A.J., to be fair, he could be limited because he was have a knee injury, but as of now, he's listed to play. So he might be a little bit limited in his abilities, but even with that being said, as long as A.J. Brown steps on the field and plays, he'll at least make a few plays. And if he's not the main target in this matchup, guess who will be? Devontae Smith. He'll be the main target in the passing game. And we're getting Dallas Goedert back. So there's our three big weapons. Make that in the passing game. Three big weapons are going to be playing. Versus, that's good right there. And then you also got Saquon, of course, and Jalen Hurts, who can actually, we know is a mobile quarterback. We know he can score and make plays with his feet. All around, there's a lot of potential weapons we can destroy the Cowboys with in this matchup on the offensive side of the ball. And for the Cowboys, Rico Dowdle doesn't really pose much of a threat. You still have CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson you got to watch out for. Those are the two guys we still got to keep an eye on. And the secondary still has to step up against. Mainly looking at, whether that be Darius Slay to step up himself a game, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. So here's another test for those young guys to prove themselves in the secondary. You still got C.J. Gardner-Johnson back in the secondary. So we know who we got in the secondary, and we still got guys that can make plays. But, one of the biggest things is to bring pressure, which I'll get more into that in my keys to victory. But as long as we can, but overall, we should be able to win this matchup when I look at it. The biggest thing that concerns me the most is our coach. Our coach's decision-making potentially getting in the way. Like he could possibly be, we don't want him possibly making dumb decisions, like not letting Jake Elliott kick the field goals. And people will point to, well, Elliott missed the field goal in the Jaguars game. Yes, he did, but that's also in part because he refused, because Sirianni wouldn't let him kick the extra points. He was trying to go for two multiple times. He passed up on a field goal to go for it on fourth down in field goal territory. As a result, Jake Elliott, when he does step on the field, is a little green from not getting basically his practice kicks in. But that's also part of the problem with Sirianni trying to be too cute. We cannot be having that in this matchup here. But now that's going to tie me into this last part right here. That's the keys to victory. The keys to victory for this matchup. First one is obviously call a logical game plan, if that makes sense. Don't make any stupid decisions. Don't try to force any plays. Don't try to force yourself to go for it on fourth down. Don't try to be the smartest guy in the room and try to get cute going for on fourth down, trying 2-point conversions when you don't need to. If you're going to take an extra point after a touchdown, just to use common sense and take it. If you're going to kick it, if you're in field goal range, if it's fourth down, kick the field goal. Don't go for it. There's no need to go for it. Kick the field goal. That's all you got to do. That's all you. So there are simple things like that. Don't get too cute, or don't try to go for it on like 4th and 5, backed up in your own territory. Not that I've seen them do that, but you get the point. Just call a reasonable game plan. Because last week outside of that, the Eagles did call a reasonable game plan. It was just Sirianni being cute, trying to go for it on fourth down and field goal range or go for two. That was the problem. So we got to avoid that, number one. Number two, eliminate the turnovers. That's always going to be key. Because if we can keep the turnovers out, we can win this game. Now, we did have that one controversial fumble that led to the touchdowns pickup by the Jaguars that made it a closer game, that played a role in the final score. It didn't change the outcome of our game week 9, but it did affect the score. So that's another thing right there, is not to turn the ball over. And the next key to victory is to get to Cooper Rush. Obviously, we've seen Cooper Rush play. He's a pocket quarterback. He's a statue in the pocket. If you bring some heat on him, he doesn't have the mobility of a Jalen Hurts or even their backup and going into this matchup, Trey Lance. He doesn't have that mobility. And here we go. I got Greg and John. They said, hey, thanks for stopping by. As always, thank you for your support. Hope you're having a great Saturday wherever you're at. And then you got, that's one key to victory right there. So that's another key. Got to get to the quarterback because he's Cooper Rush, like I said. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to this one. I'm good. No, I'm still at home right here. Remember, this is, I don't know if you're going to the game or not, maybe. If so, that's cool. Like, I think, what's his face? What is it? Where You Hiding's going to the game? Because I know he posted something on Twitter, say happy birthday. Plugging that he was in Dallas. So he'll be going to the matchup. But yeah, so Where You Hiding? I think he's going to this one. Right, and he says Cool Cat's going to it. All right, so we got several of us going. So there's several, if that's true, that Cool Cat's going. That means there's several that are going to the game. Because Where You Hiding saying he's celebrating his birthday in Texas, it's obvious sign that he's there for the game. And if Cool Cat's going, that's at least 2 Eagles fans that'll be going to the games. Might get some blog videos there. That's cool. Yeah, but Eagles fans always travel well, man. Eagles fans always travel well. And hopefully this trial will be worth it to see the Eagles take care of business against the Cowboys. Hopefully it'll prevent them from seeing Sirianni make stupid play calls. It'll prevent them. Hopefully they won't have to see the Eagles turn the ball over. And hopefully the Eagles will get to Cooper Rush, which is back to my keys to victory. Because if we bring some pressure on him, he doesn't have the mobility to get away. We could get Cooper Rush possibly 3-4 times if we play our cards right and bring the heat on him. So that's the next key to victory right there. Our third key to victory. And then another key to victory in this matchup is, to mainly focus on the run. We've been doing that so well as of lately. We've been focusing on running the ball. We've been using that to set up the pass. If we just mainly rely on feeding Saquon the ball, letting him run, do what he needs to do to take care of business and score, that puts us in an excellent position. That's a fourth key to victory right there, is to just run the ball. And that's 4 right there. So those are my main 4 keys to victory right there. And to recap it, it's call reasonable. Don't call anything stupid, like going for 2 or going for it on 4th down and field goal range when you don't have to. That's 1. Second, like I just said, is, like I just said, run the ball, focus mainly on the run, avoid the turnovers, get some heat on Cooper Rush. Those are the main keys to victory in this matchup. And some other things I would like to see. I would like to see them utilize Goddard more in the passing game now that he's back, although it's his first game back, so he might not be his most efficient, but we'll have to see how it plays out. So for score predictions in this matchup, I'll end it on this. So my score prediction, I'll go with the Eagles. I'll go with the Eagles by a score of 28-20. I do think the Cowboys will at least. Yeah, I don't think the Bengals should have gone for 2 the other day in reference to the Thursday night game. Exactly. No, I understand they were trying to take the gamble, try to win it in regulation, but obviously we saw the result. It didn't work out. And they lost, especially for a Bengals team that he's already been struggling this season. Now you've lost twice to the Ravens. You put yourself in a deeper hole for the season because you got the Steelers and Ravens are the 2 top teams in your division. You still have in the AFC wildcard picture, you still got the Chargers and the Broncos as of this moment are still in the mix, and they're doing better than the Bengals as of now. Yeah, that's not good for the Bengals to drop another loss that way. And back to the Eagles score prediction, we got Greg at 28-17. So, yeah, he's got 28-17. I got 28-20, both in favor of the Eagles. But I do think the reason we're both saying that I think they could be either a 9-point. either 11-point or an 8-point victory is because the Cowboys could move the ball a little bit. We do think at least the Cowboys could move. And could that being a division rivalry game, you know how Cowboys and Eagles are. They always play competitively with each other, especially being that it's on the road at AT&T. The Cowboys have had our number there recent years. There's a possibility they could have us again. Well, there's always a possibility they could have us again or play us close in this one. But I feel like this is the one we finally snap the losing streak. We get our first win there since 2017, in close to a decade now. But I feel like this is the game we finally get that win on the road because all the signs are pointing toward the Eagles' victory. But it could still be a close game and it could still be competitive, especially with that division rivalry factor. And the Cowboys, even as a depleted team, they're still better than the Giants who we blew out. And they are still better than the Jaguars. But we'll have to see how this matchup plays out. But we're going for the Eagles. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I said everything I was going to say about this game. We just got to see how it plays out now. And there is one other thing I wanted to bring up. I mean, there is the possibility now with the Cowboys, they got their new big weapon from the Panthers, Jonathan Mingo. I don't know how much of a factor he's going to play in this game, but it really shouldn't be a huge factor. But that's something else we'll keep our eyes out for too. But we just got to wait and see what happens. The game's going down tomorrow evening. I'll be back at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same deal on my channel on the Hardcore Sports Networks to recap the game, give my thoughts on it, give my post-game analysis while it's still fresh on my mind. So you can catch me tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So everyone that tuned in, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. I know this was a little bit more of a cluster than the usual streams with the overlay issue, but we finished this stream on the right note. I still got through my preview, said all the things I wanted to say, went over the key matchups I wanted to. I still got through it. I hope you guys enjoyed anyway. I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Stay safe, and I hope you enjoy your Saturday. But yeah, let's just hope the Eagles get this W. We can come back on here. Hopefully it'll be a positive post-game recap tomorrow. But in the meantime, yeah. So, meantime, I was hoping the Eagles get this done, this W, move on with the win, and then bring on the Commanders Thursday night from there. But we still got to wait and see what happens. So in the meantime, as always, thanks to everyone that stopped by. Thanks you always for your support. Your boy Nicky Steve signing off. Until next time, peace. Fly, Eagles, fly.